I'm Aubrey.
And I'm Peyton.
And today it's getting hot in here because we are ranking 5 of Book Talk's favorite fantasy boyfriends.
So join us with a steaming cup of coffee as we dive between these paper sheets.
Alright, before we jump into our list, there is a spoiler warning for ACOTAR, for Fourth Wing, for the Infernal Devices, for the Cruel Prince series, and from Blood and Ash series, all of the series, because we are going to be talking about our favorite book boyfriends, our favorite dark-haired men from all of those series, and, there's going to be a few things.
Okay, we are here at our first book boyfriend, none other than Castillo Denier, our favorite Atlantean from the Blood and Ash series. All right, Aubrey, what are you thinking? We have 5, so
yes.
It's going to be a little tricky.
Okay, when I think about Castillo, I think about him just being like, you're gonna marry me, Poppy. Like, this is what's gonna happen. And like building up to all of those moments. I also love that they actually did get married. I love the wedding scene and stuff like that. Like I feel like Castillo's very much like, my girl. This is my girl.
Yeah.
I'm gonna support my wife. That's what Castillo is. He's like my wife energy.
Yeah, I feel like compared to also like another person on this list, both of them are very passionate. Like this is a very passionate love he has towards Poppy.
Yeah.
Like you feel it. You're like, wow, like when I read this, I'm like, y'all are like adults. Living in Disney World, like there is so much love he has, but he also is super complex. Like I remember that one scene where Poppy was like totally mortified because of all the he literally tore someone's heart out.
Yeah.
And like the people that were like on the wall of all the people he killed, so like he comes off as very like dangerous. But then as the series goes on, we're like, Castillo's such a simp. Like
he is.
He starts simping so hard. And he like first he was like this powerful being, and then once Poppy starts getting all her powers, you just see him become like the stay-at-home dad. Like it's so cute.
No, Castillo is our stay-at-home dad. And it's funny because in the first book it's like the guard trope, and so you see him like protecting her. And then the next one it's like enemies the lovers, because we find out like he's kidnapping her, he was gonna kill her and trade her and all this stuff. And then like where we are now, he's just like, I love you, Poppy. Go, Poppy. Poppy, you're so pretty today. Like
I will do anything for Poppy. All I can think about is Poppy. And it's so funny. Like Poppy is the queen. It's so cute. So, we love Castillo. I love their story. I've loved his character. Maybe it loses some of its spark over the books, but that's only so he can let his wifey shine.
Yes.
Honestly, I think Castillo would be like a number 3 spot for me.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay. Only because like I feel like there are other men in this book that I think I would maybe even rank higher. But Castillo is our main love interest, so we need to let him shine. I think he's a number 3 for me, so I'm happy you agree.
Yeah. No, I think number 3, like out of everyone on this list, like I love Castillo. I do. Mm-hmm. There's just better options on this list.
There are better options.
Speaking of those better options, well, for me, I don't think for Peyton, but next on our list is Carden Greenbrier from the Cruel Prince series. Now, there is a little bit of a little hang up here in the fact that I have finished the Cruel Prince series, and it is my favorite book series ever. And Peyton has finished book 1.
Yeah, so kind of in the dark here.
Peyton's a little bit still in the Cruel Prince really is cruel.
He is. He's the worst, kind of. Yeah. So obviously that's gonna affect my ranking.
Yes.
Rightfully
and
so.
I'm not going to. We're gonna not say everything about him.
Yeah, but from my perspective, as if you watch our Cruel Prince podcast, I have some predictions. And I hope those predictions come true and that maybe he won't ever not be cruel, but I hope and pray that he does become the love interest and not just an asshole, which he is right now, kind of. I see the writing on the wall, and I hope it kind of continues.
Yeah. My favorite thing is the dynamic that Jude and Carden have, because you can even tell from the first book, like Peyton's like, oh, I was expecting like Carden to be the one with like the mysterious plan at the end, and like doing that more typical like power hungry in charge role, and it's not, it's Jude.
Yeah, can we put like Jude like
Yeah.
It's so funny. It's just like where I'm at in the book series. Yeah, so Carden is a number 5 for me. I really hope that changes because I believe it will. But right now, I did not feel like I would want to have.
You're not there yet.
He's
All right,
5
now
for me.
Carden is a number 1 for me, and Peyton, mute your computer. mute real quick. We're gonna have a little chat here. Okay, listen, you know that Carden is amazing, and if you get to the end of the series and he makes the like throne for her, like, is that not just like the hottest shit ever when he comes out from being a serpent and he like splits the throne in 2, so there's one for each of them? And I love the quote from Stolen Air, and it's like Jude's gonna like kill them and Carden's just gonna laugh and laugh and laugh. Like, their dynamic is just okay. All right.
All I got from that was mwah.
And that's just Aubrey.
I was there just like la 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 la. See, people, there are people that are in the dark too. It's okay. It is okay.
Just had to do a little side chat.
And if you had to cover your ears like I did, then we experienced that together. Okay. So Carden, 1 for Aubrey, 5 for Pay, but who knows?
Yeah. All right. We'll have to come back and like do like a comment on the video in like 5 months where Peyton's like, I changed my answer.
Yeah, like come back to this, like timestamp it, come back in 5 months. I'll be like, edit. I was wrong. I'm sorry. I cannot wait to go through that, and that's why I love reading. That's like the number 1 thing. It's like, wow, I felt this way, and now I feel this way. It is the best thing about reading. Okay, let's move on to Xaden Ryerson. That's how I say his last name. Ryerson, we'll say. Xaden Ryerson. Little side note here. For Fourth Wing, which is where Xaden comes from, Rebecca has yet to really give us explanations on how to say these people's names. I know Xaden, but I just want to have a little side tangent here that I'm a little upset because we are planning on doing a Fourth Wing episode and I'm super excited about it. And I was writing the script for it and I was like, girl, you are giving us nothing. Like, how do I say these people's names? But Xaden is the most recent book boyfriend we have been introduced to. So
yes,
of
we
course,
finished this book like 2 weeks ago.
On our minds. Yes. Xaden is definitely a morally gray character.
Yes.
Along with most of these.
Yeah. Like a lot of these, honestly. You're introduced to him as the enemy, which is how you know you're doing the fantasy romance right. If they don't come out with daggers, if you never think they're going to kill you, then like, where is the passion? Where's the fight, you know? Oh my gosh. All right,
yeah,
Xaden.
I'm here for the enemies to lovers all the time. Xaden is an interesting character because all we can go off of is the first book. This isn't a Cruel Prince thing where, Aubrey's read them and I haven't read all of them and now, she knows more than, this is all we know. Yeah. And honestly, Violet, who is our female main character, and their relationship moved very fast. Within one school year. Mm-hmm. Very fast. To, I love you and I want to be with you forever sort of love.
I know, I was almost Violet, shut up.
Yeah, it's stop. I like the forcefulness. She kind of has that Jude energy where she knows what she wants. Mm-hmm. But let's get back to Xaden. Xaden is fun because what's fun about him is he is the enemy to Violet's family. So it's not just all these other ones, I guess they kind of are the enemies in a way, but these two are fully against each other.
Right. So because in Fourth Wing, Xaden's dad or brother killed Violet's brother, and then Violet's mom publicly executed Xaden's parents. Yeah, dad.
And even the first chapter or second chapter, Xaden's watch out, I'm gonna kill you, basically. Yeah. Don't worry, you won't be here much longer. And then that turns into a protection of sorts because I feel he really gets to know her and realizes that she's kind of not what he thought she was gonna be. Yeah. Let's not even start that Xaden holds two of my favorite things in any fantasy book, and that is shadows.
Okay. Yes.
I love the creepy I've been listening to you in these shadows, and don't do that to me future book fantasy boyfriend, but I love it. And then he talks with Violet in their minds. It's because their dragons are mated.
That was so I love when they can mentally communicate, and especially at first when he's communicating with her and she hasn't learned how to do it yet, and he's teasing her, which is so much fun. And something that's so cool about their relationship is that usually when it's a slow burn, which it's not fully a slow burn, they're together by the end of the book, we said, but usually there's this we're hiding our attractions from each other, we're not gonna let each other know that we're really there. This is Feyre in A Court of Mist and Fury being oh, well, you can finger me just for a distraction. I'm not actually into you though, Not these two. Xaden is I cannot stop thinking about you. They're not together, and he's all I want to do is fuck you right now. And it's they're both neither one of them is gonna be quiet about it. You know what I mean? They're so loud with their attraction to each other, which is super hot.
Yeah, it's super hot that and it goes both ways where it's listen, they kiss or something, they're this can never happen again. And then it happens again, and it's they're forbidding their love from each other. Yeah. And then as the reader, you're no! Come back, be with each other. And oh my god, I can't even. It's so funny because it's the first time I met Xaden. Violet even says he's the hottest guy I've ever seen. It's very juvenile how he says it. Yeah. But it gives me, and I will say this, and Aubrey had the perfect comparison. It's an adult Triss and 4. Yeah. Where 4 is get going, recruit, get out of here, keep going. Mm-hmm. But actually he's oh my god, this girl is amazing.
I want to be more, so at the end of Fourth Wing, we get the epilogue in Xaden's head, and I want to know more. I want to be in his head more, because I want to know when he decided that he like was obsessed with her, because he says something about how hot he thought she was like at the parapets, like right from the beginning. But like, when did you go from like I'm waiting to kill you, to find a moment to kill you, to like being hot for this person? Because he also like calls her Violence like right at the beginning, which is like, come on, nicknames.
We love a nickname.
Violence. Okay. But like, that's like right at the beginning when she like accidentally spies on them meeting and she's throwing daggers at his head. Like, that's like chapter 6 or something. I mean, I don't know when it is, but you know what I mean? Like, it's so early on that he's already like kind of down bad for her.
Yeah, I'm super curious to know. In my head, I think maybe the moment is when, I think you say, I've been looking it up once again. Rebecca, please help us out. I think you say it's Sagail, his dragon.
Yeah.
The way that she looked and like stared at Violet, I think because it's almost like she was like, yes, like Violet, and I'm sure Zayden was probably like, are you fucking kidding me? Like her?
A Sorengale? Anyways, okay.
But yeah, let's move on.
That this is the most recent book that we've read. We're so excited. We're gonna the next episode will be Fourth Wing because we can't keep it in. However, we also, there is recency bias, which like I've been thinking about with this list, because I think I'm gonna rate him too high. Like, I'm gonna say right now, I'm gonna rate him too high, because there's other, like, a lot of these characters I haven't read in a while, or, you know, you just have to think about. Whereas we just finished Fourth Wing, and it also it's a spicy book. So you're
right. And that is something I've taken into consideration. And, you know, 13-year-old me who loved Thor, who is Tobias, we find out, that will forever be, like, a book boyfriend for me. And I see kind of comparisons with Zayden. Yeah. So, you know, I'm kind of basing off that. And we don't really know the full extent of Zayden's character yet.
Yeah, there's supposed to be 5 books in this series. Like, we could come back later and it's going to be like, oh, you were talking about, like, Tamlin that well? Like, she could do a switch on us and we will never know. But for the moment, what's your ranking?
For right now. Yeah. I'm thinking number 2. This is number 2 for me. Yeah. Is that number 2 for you too? Yeah. I'm sorry, Zayden swept me off my feet. Like, I cannot.
It was so good. And, you know, recency bias aside, it's hot. It just is. And it's also like, this book definitely has like a strong amount of like romance. Like, this is a romantic fantasy. Like, the romance is, you know, I don't think that it's like the same as like full romance story. Like, there's still a lot of the actual other plots of the books. Like, it's still a subplot, but like, it's a strong subplot.
Yeah, and I think that, and this is why I kind of love first books and then like kind of second books too, depending on what happens, because like, this is kind of like their love story, but now we're gonna get into more of the politics and the war. Yeah. And that's how a lot of book series are. So, yeah, he's number 2 for us, but like, what are you gonna say about it? We love it. What are you gonna do?
Oh my god.
He's hot.
When the edit comes in later and it's like, edit, Peyton was wrong about Cardin and both of the girls were so wrong about Zayden, I'm gonna cry. But at the moment,
Zayden's number 2.
We're simping.
Call me
Castillo.
Call me Castillo. I love Zayden. Okay.
All right. Opposite of recency bias, the next one we have is from the Infernal Devices series, which is part of Cassandra Clare's Shadowhunters, Will Herondel. Okay.
Yes. So,
I love Will Herondel. I want to start that off with saying that I love him. And there was a time, like if you would have asked 13-year-old Aubrey, like Will Herondel is like the top of the list, like just right below Magnus. You know what I mean? Like
Magnus Bane.
But it has been a hot minute since I've read these books.
Yeah.
However, we couldn't exclude him because I love him.
No, I love Will too. And why I love Will is because his love story with Tessa is interesting. Because there was another man involved. You had a little bit of a triangle going on.
But a good love triangle. Like, this isn't some shitty Twilight thing. This is a good love triangle.
Because Will, at the end of the day, has so much respect for Jem and Tessa that, like, he would give up his love for that. And so, I know. He's just a sweetheart. He's so sweet. But he also has those, like, rougher sides. But the reason why he's rough is not because, from what I understand right now, is like Carden, where it's like, okay, you're an asshole. It's like, he just, like thought he was cursed his whole life. So he's protecting people he loves.
Yeah, he's the self-punishing bad boy. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, he's the bad boy in the love triangle, but it's all, like, self-loathing. He's like, I'm so depressed. I hate myself. I need to push everyone away. And then all you want to do is love him.
Yeah, no, he is such a sweetheart. And I just remember falling in love with those books and that, installment of the series. And I just love Will. And it's funny because him and Jem are parabatai, which is kind of like a bond of some
kind.
Like
married best friends.
Yeah, like married best friends. Like, if you die, I die sort of thing. And he just cares for him and not like we need to battle over Tessa. It was more so like, listen, we both like her. We're not really gonna talk about it, but like, dude, like, I care for you so much. I love you so much, and I'm cursed anyways. So like, go for it.
There's these moments where they keep being like, oh, no, you be happy. No, you be happy. No, you be happy. And there's just like such a heartbreaking scene where Will has finally decided that like he's not cursed. He's gonna get with Tessa. Like, he's so happy to like be honest. And then that's when Tessa and Jem announce that they're engaged, and he has to just be like, I'm so happy for you. And it just like breaks your heart. Even though at the end of the day, Will is the one who gets to marry Tessa. Because Jem turns into a silent brother. And then you read the epilogue and you bawl your eyes out when Tessa forgets the precise blue of his eyes. Oh my god. That, like...
It's so poetic. I think their love story is like something that fits that time period Cassandra Clare was writing in. Yeah. And it was kind of refreshing and different to read a character that wasn't like totally morally gray, if that makes sense.
No, he's a sweetheart. He's my little poet.
Yeah, he's a little poet, and they bonded over books, and there's nothing more I love than like a love interest that just loves reading.
Yes.
And he just is so educated, and I love Will. With that being said, Will be number 4 for me.
Yeah, me too.
So love Will though. I just have my eyes on other people.
I love Will, and I feel like if the Infernal Devices TV show comes out, which it won't, but if it ever did, catch me switching. catch me switching so quick.
But this list is super hard. Like, this isn't easy.
Like, even no matter, like, if you're 5 or 4, you're still so high compared to everyone who didn't make it on the list. So
yeah, think about all the people that didn't make it on the list. So, all right. So, once again, yeah. So people are here, like, it's just spoiled for you. So our final one is Rhysand. So Rhys, who doesn't have a last name.
Give us the last name.
Because you know what's hilarious is I didn't write this script, and it wasn't until we got to this point that I saw Aubrey's note that he doesn't have a last name, and I never thought of that, like, ever.
What?
I never thought.
I think
I'm stupid. I was never like, what's his last name? Because then, what's Feyre's last name now? Like, I'm so confused.
No, we don't know. We don't know his last name. Now, I think that it was an accident. I think she wrote the books and never thought to give him a last name, because not a lot of the ACOTAR characters have last names. Like, if you think about it, like, I mean, you know the Archeron sisters' last names.
Yeah.
But, like, what is one other character's last name? Yeah. But I think it's like Court of Silver, Frost and Starlight, the fucking novella. At one point, Feyre goes, "Oh, your family name?" And then they don't even, they don't say it. And so people think that his last name is gonna have to do something more with the whole Sarah J. Maas universe, and it's gonna be like a big reveal when you hear it. But why doesn't he have a last name?
Yeah, maybe he's like a lineage, or you know how like they did that in like the Shadowhunters. Like, you're like, oh my god, like that's the father, the mother to these or that. And okay, so I don't know, but so Rhys,
Rhysand.
Yeah, Rhysand. This is hard because listen, we're at the end here. You know he's my number one because I cannot not put Rhysand there, and honestly, Xaden would have taken his spot possibly, but I just, like Aubrey said, like I'm trying not to be in a bias right now. I love Rhys. Maybe the same reason why Aubrey loves Carvin is because Rhys, when we first met him, was a total asshole. He could crush people's minds, and we've seen him do that. But it turns out that he is more than that. And I cannot, it's hard for me to describe this because it's like 5 books.
There's so much with his character. So much. Like, you go through the fucking roller coaster with Rhys.
Yes. And you really dive into his psyche. Once again, we have the trope of, like, the mind communication.
It's
my
so
favorite. Awesome. Yes. And so, I don't know. There's something just brilliant about his character that I love.
Okay. We also know at this point that Rhysand is my number 5. And I know that there's people screaming. And so here is my defense. Here is my reason why Rhysand is my number 5. And there's two reasons. One, I went into the ACOTAR series with it spoiled for me. And I think that ruins a lot of the magic, because I knew going into it that Tamlin was not it and that Rhys was. And knowing that, you're kind of looking for it. And so, like, while Peyton didn't have it spoiled for her, she fell in love with Tamlin, with Feyre, and then she fell in love with Rhys, with Feyre, and went through that. And I think that journey I can appreciate However, I did not experience that, and I was never a full Reese girly. I mean, I love Reese. Don't get me wrong. Like, he is on this list. I love Reese, but like, I didn't fall in love with Reese in the same way that I think a lot of other people did. And number 2 is because I really, really, really am struggling actively. It's been a year. It's been like a year since I've read this book, but I am actively still struggling to forgive Reese for what he did in Silver Flames with Feyre. Not telling her that the pregnancy was going to kill her. And yes, it was going to kill him, and it was going to kill their baby, but I feel like him doing that was like doing all the wrong things, like so much about like her choice, and it literally is her body, her choice. I don't think Feyre would have gotten an abortion, but honestly, they knew early enough that she could have gotten an abortion and they could have survived. You know, I don't think she would have, but he took that choice away from her. He didn't let her know that she was dying, and I know he was searching for a solution, and I can understand that, but I cannot forgive him at the moment for doing that to her. Especially when so much of her story, so much of the reason why we hate Tamlin is for that same thing.
Right. Yes, you are right. One,
my little soapbox moment.
Yeah, like, no, and you're right. One, I think a lot of what has to do with my love for Rysand is because I love their whole love story. Like, Tamlin, I fell in love with Tamlin. I did. And because I fell in love with Tamlin the way I did, I do feel like he has a redemption arc. Because I just do. I think he has a redemption arc. But when she fell in love with Reese, I fell in love with Reese too. I fell head over heels in love with this man. He was fully also realized my first full, like, adult fantasy book boyfriend. Like, he set the standard for every other man to come. It's like having a father. Like, he really is daddy to me. Because every other father after that, every other boyfriend, I should say, after that, set the standard of the kind of man. Does he keep secrets? Yes. He didn't tell Feyre they were mates. And then 2, he wasn't going to tell her that she was literally dying.
Yeah.
Okay? But I think Reese has this, like, problem with controlling things. He literally controls people's minds. So, 1, he thought Feyre would never want me. I'm not going to tell her we're mates because then I feel like I'm really going to force her into being with me. Like, I already have her kind of as my, like, prisoner through, like, the bond tattoo they have. So, he's like, whatever to that. And then secondly, with the pregnancy, I'm not excusing him, but I feel like, once again, he feels like he has to protect her. Yeah. But I think that's going against who Feyre is as a person, because I do think she doesn't want to be kept in the dark about anything. Because if we remember, Tamlin kept her in the dark about a lot of stuff. And she didn't like that. So it's difficult and hard, and maybe that's just maybe Sarah's beating herself up after this because she's like, oh no, like, I'm sacrificing this love, like, this, like, amazing man. But I love Reese. There's just so, like, I don't know, he's such a mastermind, and we always talk about that, how, like, and that to me, I love that kind of, like, romance stuff where it's like he puts so much thought into every step of their relationship. Yeah. And we had no idea, and Feyre had no idea, because other than some slight POV changes, like, we never really are in Reese's head. We're always in Feyre's head. So, it's such a good journey to be on.
Yeah, looking at, like, the first 3 books, like the core ACOTAR series, and Feyre's journey and their love story, it is beautiful.
Yeah. Like, seriously, like, #1 book series. But I don't know. We'll see. Zayden's really getting on me. Like,
we have 4 more books in Fourth Wing for Zayden to top.
Yeah, I don't know if Rebecca Yarros pulls a Tamlin, like, I don't know what I'm gonna do with myself.
I think that was Dane. I say that, and I can be proved wrong. But like Dane was like the original love interest in Fourth Wing. We didn't even talk about him at all.
Yeah,
but I think that was our throwaway love interest. But we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll talk about Fourth Wing next. Don't you worry. We can't keep our mouth shut about it.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to keep my mouth shut about it, only because we did go on a little tangent today about plot a little bit. That's okay. I think it was a good point that you brought up the bias, only so people take that into account when they are watching/listening to this. But if we have nothing else to talk about, that is all we have time for today. Yes. What are your rankings of these book boyfriends? Who would you add to this list? Because, like I said, there were some that did not make the cut. And, of course, always let us know what you would like us to review next. Like I said, that Fourth Wing episode will be coming out shortly. So, yeah.
All right. Thank you all so much for joining us, and happy reading.